Hello, everybody. Andrew Taylor here. Today we have a treat for you. We have Frankie Euphemia and Stephen Yee with us.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Frankie is an animal. Frankie, I've been your biggest hype man since... Who's a bigger hype man than me?
Nobody.
Nobody.
You actually are better than Don King.
I am.
You should get into that as your next career.
That's a good
promoter.
idea. So, Frankie is one of the best at annuities and making them very simple. So this is like I want to say an advanced market sales training, but Frankie, what would you say?
I would call it a simple retirement solutions training. Like advanced market sales is dead. And it should have been dead a long time ago because it makes people feel or think that it's advanced. And that's the dumbest thing ever when we're trying to scale it at a large level, because annuities are easier to sell than life insurance. Without a shadow of a doubt, they're easier to sell than life insurance.
So if someone's selling annuities, selling life insurance, you're saying they should be selling annuities right now?
Yeah, 100%. If you're selling life insurance weekly and telesales, you average, just say 15 presentations a day, or even, let's go low, 10. That means 50 people a week. You should find no less than 10 people that have money that might want to learn about what an annuity is.
Okay, so for those people who don't know, what would be how would you describe an annuity?
It's a savings account with an insurance company. That's it. I mean, and to dive a little deeper, you could go, it's a savings account with an insurance company that gives you the upside of the market with no risk.
That's it.
That's it.
Simple.
Yeah.
Very.
Steven, what's your input for someone that's brand new on annuities?
You know, I was scared to write them when I was brand new too. But what's crazy is kind of like what Frankie said earlier in our training. It's like after you do your second one, it's like you should do them every month. You know, because the business is just so strong and it's a great product for your client and it pays well too. You know, and it's like Frankie said earlier. He's like, dude, it always hit when I needed him to hit. But the other thing, too, that about annuities is I look at life insurance. We all carry a life insurance license, right? And most of us just sell mortgage protection or final expense. It's like having a car that has 7 speeds, but you only drive in the first or second gear only the whole time, right? IULs, annuities, and all the other products are your other gears. And it's if you have that great of a car, that great of a license, then why not access the whole thing? You know what I mean?
Dude, I like that.
So I don't know if I ever told you this, but I wrote an article in an annuity magazine. Someone said, hey, do you want, because I had sold a few, someone said, do you want to write an article for an annuity magazine? And I did write it. I actually should find it.
You
but
should.
I wrote it about my stepdad who had died from a heart attack. And this thing just it was so sad and it was so hard on our family. But the story that I wrote was that he had worked somewhere and saved for retirement and done all these things. And then in 2008, he lost a lot of his retirement and what that could do to somebody and what is the true value, not the monetary value, but what's the true value of what it can do to your health, what it can do to your family, what it can do to your stress, what it can do to you in all these different ways. So the whole article was about you're really selling it's almost like selling life insurance.
Right.
But the person's getting the benefit of not having to worry.
Stress.
That after they've accumulated all their money at the very end, something's going to happen and they're going to lose it. So if you think about if you're selling it with that emotion, then it gets really easy. And then I was talking to a solar guy and I'm like, dude, if I sold solar, I would sell it like I sell life insurance. I go, Frankie, if something happened to you, your wife won't have an electric bill.
Dude, you are, I love, every time I hang out with you, it's just, we were talking about how you built the studio and what you've done here. You're just very innovative with everything. You've always been 10 steps ahead of everybody else, which is awesome. I need to spend more time with you. But to go back to what you were talking about with the annuity, my dad, I remember him every day, staring at the ticker on the bottom of Fox News, watching the market, making sure he wasn't losing money. And I'm going you're going to have a heart attack. why? And he was by far my hardest, toughest client, right? It's your father. So, but after we moved his money, like it was just like a sigh of relief. And I agree with you. We don't sell that enough, that peace of mind, but it can
Bro.
absolutely add years to your lifespan.
Which I always called it the sleep well at night program.
Right. That's the first time I heard that. And I
go,
love
hey,
that.
Hey, have you heard about the Swan program? What? The sleep well at night program.
So good.
Dude, it makes sense though.
It does. It absolutely does.
Now, we're going to get into some of the things that like were really simple that helped us when we were brand new. Frankie, you said that you wouldn't be in the business. I don't think I'd be in the business either, because a few of those saved me in months where I was learning and things were not going good.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
But something that we talked about is it's not about closing everybody. It's just about presenting to enough people.
That's right.
Can you share a little bit about that?
Well, it's just like life insurance sales. You're not going to write every person you talk to, right? But if you can do 3 out of 10 and then work on your skill set and then eventually get to 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 if you become really, really good. It's the same thing with annuities. And I definitely don't think I'd be in the business without them. But when we got started, remember they used to talk about the 4 quadrants of working here at FFL: final expense, mortgage protection, life insurance, and IULs. Well, if the agents here aren't exercising or doing all 4 quadrants, you're leaving money on the table. And that's really the harsh reality of it. And now what I said to an agent I was working with yesterday was, like, some seasons, like it'll be heavy on the final expense side. And then some season it'll be heavier on the mortgage side. But those two are your constant, right? You got to have a constant that, come hell or high water, every week I can get this many leads, I can write this many apps, and I'm going to deposit this much money, right? That has to be your constant. The IULs and the annuities are the bonus. But if you're not doing those two at a high level and you're not asking a question, you're never going to get to the bottom 2. But you have to implement the bottom 2, because it will save you on a month, 2 months where you're not closing at the level you should be closing, or maybe you just had a bad string of luck. And it happens, it didn't happen often. I remember I used to have it happen like one week out of the year. It would be like awful. I'd set 28 appointments. I'd get no-showed 15 times, and the other 13 would be like, get out of my house. And I'm going like, this is awful, right? But it never happened 2 weeks in a row. But if you have a stretch where you're not doing, because when we used to do it, the way I used to do everything, Jamie and I, our business bills and our business bills and our personal bills was $27,000 a month, right? So I had to write $27,000 in simplified issued life insurance to deposit. Really, it was $35,000 to collect 27, right? That was come hell or high water. But again, there were months where, maybe we had conference or maybe we had some meetings and I wasn't able to get in the field as much and I fell short. Dude, I wrote on average, I think it would probably average out to about an annuity and a half a week, so almost 2 a week. But dude, life's game changing. And I wasn't necessarily scared. I just thought people in Baltimore were broke. Like they don't have no money. I'm in the city every day. I see how they live. I see what the house look like. They don't have no money, but they do. They might not have $2 million, $750,000, $500,000, but they got $80,000, $120,000. That's their entire life savings. Those people need our help.
Yep.
Because there's no advisor out there that gives a rip about them. They don't care if they lose their $80,000. They don't, and it's sad because they want help and they need help. It's our job to help them.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, I mean, it was the same for me because we bought our first house. We bought it because of the deposit that we got from my first annuity that I ever rolled.
Nice.
Actually.
Frankie, there's a cough button, bro.
I hate it.
So
Did it not work? I was waiting to use it.
Oh man, it's funny. But it was funny because I went to my first FFL conference, and I was sitting there going like, man, I don't know if I'm going to sit through this segment because it's so complex, right? And I remember one of the guest trainers that came out there, and he said a line that I was like, dude, that's good because I've gotten that objection so many times. I'm going to use that the next time I get back. So like the very next week, I went back in the field. I used that line, and I rolled over $500,000. And the deposit,
Nice.
I was like, that was the down payment on the home.
Wow.
You know, and I'm always like, so like talking about convention and training, it's like the training you don't go to can't help you. And then it's like, who would have imagined like how much money I would have lost if I didn't attend that 1 hour training? Because that was the first annuity I wrote, you know? But it was awesome, man, because, you know, it funded things for me. Like you said, it was saving you in the business. It was for me to able to fund like our down payment on our home or like our second home or whatever it is. It's like it was able to create things. Like I look at IULs and annuities as vehicles for people to fund retirement or protect retirement. It was the same thing we did in our household with the commissions that we did with it.
Yeah.
So
That's huge.
It's freaking
man.
awesome.
Yeah, that's legit.
And that's the concept that we want to change that perspective on the training. Like, oh, this seems too complicated. You know what I mean? And because it's just not.
Yeah. So just to kind of go over how important all these events are, when the company opened up, what year did the company open?
December 12th, 2013.
2013. So 2014, I'm in a training that I drove like 2 hours to go to. They're doing a training on annuities, and they said all you got to do is, and this was Sean Ruggiero. He goes, all you got to do is say, what do you have that acts like life insurance? And then call me, and I'll get you ready for an appointment to go back once you identify it. So I go to appointment the next day, okay? The very next day. I go, what do you have that acts like life insurance? They pull up all their stuff, and they end up having like, I don't know, $1 million in retirement stuff.
Shoot.
Nice.
That's a good commission.
That is a good commission.
The guy's like, I have this old annuity that's like $500,000, and he's like, and I'm like, oh, let me see it, and I can already see that it's out of its surrender period.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyways, I go, hey, I'm gonna come back and look at some newer options, and I use this other line that they talked about too. I was like, it's kind of like phones. Like, how cool is your iPhone now compared to the phone you got like 9 years ago?
Right.
So maybe there's something cooler out there for you. Let me look. So I go back to him, dude. Write the deal, $500K, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me,
Dude. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
if you think
yeah.
about the phone analogy, like back when we started in the insurance industry, what the annuities looked like, and now what they look like with, you know, companies like Athene with no caps, like it's mind-boggling to me. We had literally statements mailed to us from our clients in 2017, 21.5% returns. Like it blew my mind.
Yeah.
But that was not possible.
I
10 years,
want to
15
talk
years
about
ago.
this though too, because a lot of people don't understand this. Okay.
Mhm.
So on most of the annuities, they have something called a lifetime income benefit rider.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know what that is. Can you explain that in the simplest form?
Yeah, I mean, it's like Social Security. Once you turn it on, it's going to pay you that amount till the day you die.
Now, what if you die in a year?
Well, whatever's left in your account as far as cash value goes will go to your beneficiary. And that's a misconception a lot of people have. The way a lot of work-based annuities work is they'll give you an income that's guaranteed for the rest of your life. But if you drop dead in a year or 6 months, they keep what's in that account and it goes into a pool for the employees, right? And that doesn't work that way with these. It has a death benefit. So if you have, let's just use numbers, $500,000, that annuity you closed, and they drew it, they started drawing income, and he passed away, and they were getting $1,500 a month. What's 1,500 times 12? $18,000. So whatever that account value was at that point in time, minus the $18,000 is what the death benefit is.
Now, if you do the spousal lifetime income benefit rider, then it's gonna pay that money no matter what for you and your spouse.
Correct.
Okay, so this is something that I always liked and used. I'd go, Frankie, if something happens to you, your wife every month is gonna get a check with your name on it for the rest of her life.
I like that.
And again, just going back, you're still taking care of her. Now, she doesn't have to call an investment advisor and figure out what to do, where to move her money, worry about somebody doing something they shouldn't do or taking advantage of her. She's just going to continue to get a check every month with your name on it.
Dude, that's solid.
Dude, the cool part about you're talking about the lifetime income benefit rider too. is they can burn through the cash and they'll still have to pay because the contract is forever.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So like, let's pretend that the contract's for $100,000 and it's like in a 401k after the 100, it's like,
Yeah,
you're done. You're done. You have no more
Bro,
money.
if you live
You
to
can't
like
outlive
your,
it.
if you have one of those bloodlines where you lived in like your hundreds, everybody they lived to like
Right.
100, bro, get that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because
absolutely.
it pays. It passed what the account has because that's the contract.
Yeah.
between
So even if 20, 30 years later you they paid you more than your contract value had, they still are going to keep making that payment.
Yep.
It's a phenomenal.
It's like
product.
it's literally like Social Security.
Yep.
It's never going to go away. I mean, some people think Social Security is going to go away, so it's better than Social Security. It's never going to go away if you have the lifetime income rider.
That's legit. Okay, the other thing we talked about earlier was something that helped me a lot was knowing that I didn't have to you can't ask them for all of their money or even present them an option for all of their money because it has to be a suitable product for them. So I started looking at about 50% of their retirement and looking at recommendations starting in that area. Do you guys recommend that, or have you guys done that? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, you go ahead.
So I love that you're talking about this because my first few annuities, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And the reason why people don't write annuities because they feel like it's a very complex sale. And at Family First Life, the beauty of us having an SRS department is I can just go, hey, do you have a current statement? And are you planning to draw the money like immediately, or are you planning to have it grow, or do a little bit of both? And then I just take that information, I ask a specialist, I send it to them. They run the carrier, they run the illustration, they tell me the bullet points I need to pitch, and then I can go sell them. Now, if I'm not comfortable because I'm scared that I'm going to botch someone's retirement, someone will do it for me, and we'll just split the deal in half, and I'm game. And like what you said earlier, like I rather roll it and know that the client's taken care of properly because I have a guilty conscience, so I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I didn't, right? And take half the deal, then make 100% of nothing.
Yep.
And so like for me, I just took whatever the statement they had, I ran it to the SRS department. They ran the illustrations. They usually gave me a few. Like, hey, this, like, let's say the client had like 250. It's like, all right, here's 1 for 1, 150, 2. And then I show it to the client, be like, hey, which one do you want? Like 3 option closing when we were selling anyway. It's like, hey, these are 3 options. Which one do you want?
Yeah.
They picked one and we just did that.
That's it.
Yeah, and just to clarify, we're not talking about variable products. We're
Right.
talking about index.
Correct.
Fixed index.
There's 3 types of annuities. You got fixed annuities, variable annuities, and fixed indexed annuities. We sell indexed annuities, fixed index annuities.
And fixed annuities.
There's a fixed account inside of the indexed annuity. So it's not even a fixed annuity. It's still an indexed annuity. You just select the option to allocate your funds to a fixed account.
Now, one other thing that people something that I always like related well to is when people would go, the lottery is an annuity. Like you can choose to get your money in an annuity in the lottery.
Mm-hmm. That's
So-
actually have to get the full payout. Because if you
Yeah,
take the lump
that's
sum,
right.
it's shorter. It's way less than what they advertise.
But if you want the
Right.
full payout,
It's an annuity.
then it's in an annuity and it's paid out. And I think the NFL or there's some other forms of annuities. Actually, they're all over the place. So it's not like it's something that's not common or known. It's just people might not know the term or identify it as that, you know?
Right. There's like some baseball players that have like deferred comps, right? Like they've been retired for 20 years, but they get $1 million every year from the ball club they played with. And it's like a form of an annuity.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. So if someone's new, and I'm going to give my recommendation, I want to hear what yours are. Actually, not even if you're new, if you've been doing this a while, one thing that helped me was out of every 10 people I sold, I attempted to book another appointment to go back and present an annuity. And that was, I just tried to do 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
So if I could get 3 out of 10, then that would be good for me.
So let me ask you this question, Drew. What question do you ask at the end of your appointment to get those appointments?
That's a good question. So I'm always asking the golden question,
Okay.
which is, what do you have that acts like life insurance?
Okay.
And then I'm just going to jot it down. I'm not going to talk about annuities right there because then you end up tidal wave selling and scaring people off. After I help them with the insurance, their life insurance, then this is what I do. I go, hey, there's a program. It's called the Sleep Well at Night program. Have you heard
I
of
love it, dude.
Have you heard of it?
No.
Okay. It's a insurance product that helps you with your retirement where you can't lose any money. You can only make money. and I'm going to run some illustrations for you, and I'm going to go over your life insurance product I just did with you right now. I'm going to go over that, but I'll also show you this program as well. And that'll be next Tuesday at 4:00.
Nice.
So I just go and book it.
Right.
Yeah, that's golden. I mean, it's the easiest way to get back in the home is to do exactly what
or
you just
even
said.
on the phone.
Easy, back in touch with that client. Absolutely.
And then once I'm on the phone with them, then I go, hey, then you have oh, I forgot this one last question. How much of this money can you afford to lose?
Right.
That's the magical question.
Yeah.
You got the golden question and the magical question.
Dude, I would
Swan.
right. I would ask people, I would say, hey, if you can play God, because the market does three things. It goes up, it stays even, and it drops. If you can play God and eliminate one of the three, which one would it be? And they always say, obviously, the market going down. I'm like, cool. So you told me you had a 401k for like $85,000. I'll come back next week, same time, and I'll show you some stuff that would act identical to what you just asked for. Because that's what an annuity does. It eliminates downside risk, but you can participate in the gains.
That's so good.
You know,
That is, that's genius. Okay, if you could play God. Swan, like this is the stuff that we need to just talk about, because there's so many different ways to do this. But if you're not asking, you know what I mean? It starts by asking the golden question, and that's what we have to get the entire
And then the
company
magical
to do.
question.
Golden magical, yeah.
I love it.
I always just would say, if I could show you a way to take advantage of the upside of the market and eliminate the downside risk, would you like to learn about that? You know, because I didn't want to be pushy. And most people would like to learn about things they don't know. And if you've sold them a policy, or even if you didn't, you just gave them sound advice, there's trust there. You know, we've all been in those appointments where you walk out and there's not a lot where people are properly covered, but there's some cases where they can't qualify for what they need. And you go, you know what,
Keep what you have.
Keep what you have. I can't put you in a better situation. They like that, you know? So in every home, there should be the question, like, you know, if I could show you a way, if they have money somewhere, if I could show you a way to sleep well at night, that'd be something you're interested in learning about. That's what I'm going to change it to. If I could show you a way to sleep well at night, would you like to see what that program looks like? Would you like to learn about that program? Dude, I love that.
Yeah. Frank, what's the craziest appointment you've ever had?
Dude, I've had some crazy ones, some that I can say on this, some I can't. I think, honestly, like the first really big annuity I wrote was somewhat crazy. And, you know, I pulled, and I ran in Baltimore City for 12 years. And like, we were at a football game 3 weeks ago, and literally 25 feet behind me, a guy's firing bullets into the crowd. Like, Baltimore's a disaster, but it's my hometown and I love it. So I pull up to the house, a mortgage protection appointment, and dude, the house looks like it's going to fall over. I mean, it's a disaster, and I don't want to go in, but I do, just because, you know, that's what you do. And I knock on the door, and the woman answered in like a robe. And she had
great.
She had like a
She had a
mustache
beard.
and whiskers growing out of her chin. They were really long and really dark, and 3 teeth in her mouth. And I'm like, oh Lord. And it smelled like cats really bad. So I'm like, is Tom here? She's like, yeah. And I still talk to this guy every year. He calls me every year. So he comes, and dude, he's got like I don't know if he's gotten a haircut in like 30 years. He's got a ponytail. He's got 5 teeth in his mouth. And we sit down at the kitchen table, and his floor kind of looked like your wall there. Like, it was a tile floor, but some tiles weren't there. Like, they had a problem with missing stuff, teeth and tiles and pickets to their fence. It was a disaster. But needless to say, I'm there pitching him mortgage protection, and I asked the question, what do you have to actually life insurance, IRA, 401k, 403b? And he said, I have a 401k. I said, awesome. How much do you have? He said $750. And I thought he meant $750, but he meant 750 grand.
Wow.
And that's what I said. Wow. And he proceeded to say, like, he's got a E-Trade account with like 600 grand in it. And
what?
That's what I said. I said, dude, why don't you have any teeth? Like, why don't you go to the dentist? But the guy's like, dude, when I was young, my dad told me to save everything I could save. And so I've done that. And he worked at like a power plant in Baltimore. And he goes, I'm getting ready to retire next month, and I don't know what to do with my money. So I wrote him a mortgage protection policy, and in the same appointment, I wrote him $750,000 annuity. I wrote two, actually. One that had a lifetime income with the spousal rider on it, and one that was just a cash accumulating annuity. And I was like, I walked out of the house, and I never called Jamie. I'm like, yo, like I doing a calculation in my head. I'm like, I just made this amount of money. She's like, stop it, right? I'm like, for real. And it closed and funded, went through, and dude, the guy's happy as can be.
Yeah.
Like he's happy as can be. And he's not like, here's what's crazy. He's got, I think it might have been half and half in an income annuity, half in the, like he's not touched the other half. Dude, he don't spend no money and he still has no teeth in his mouth. And I told him, I was like, dude, you should seriously, he's like, go. I'm just like, I wasn't like, we have a cool relationship. So I'm not being rude to him.
Did he offer
like,
you a beer or anything?
Dude, a lot of my clients offer me beer. A lot of my clients drink beer and they always think I drink beer because I have, a beard and I got a beer belly. Dude,
it's weird though, because you can't judge anything.
No. No.
You know
that's
what
the
I
thing.
found out though?
What's that?
Usually the people with all the nice stuff
Don't have anything.
Don't have. Yeah.
they won't spend $30 on life insurance.
Nope. Well, dude, and that leads to the next question, the silver question. Do you consider yourself a saver or a spender? And so if Steven goes, I'm a saver, I go, awesome. Where do you save? Like, where's most of your savings at? What type of account? IRA, Roth, savings account, CD?
What'd you call this question?
The silver question.
So we got the silver question, the
golden question,
golden
and the
question,
magic
and
question.
the magical question.
And then if he goes, I'm a spender, I go, okay, is it safe to say, like, your retirement account isn't quite where you'd like it to be? He's going to go, yeah. I go, if I could show you a way to put money away every month that you don't see, that will give you coverage if you pass away, your family's good, but also give you the ability to get a tax-free retirement. Would that be something you'd be interested in learning about? So I'm either annuity or IUL right there.
Dude, so Drew, I had a crazy story. Matter of fact, I just wrote it this past week. I had a final expense lead that didn't buy final expense, but I've sold them 6 annuities. 6 annuities, one client.
Didn't you run into one of my clients that
Yeah.
I sold an annuity to?
Yeah, but there's not that guy. But I've ran across your business plenty of times. So check this out, right? So this guy's gone to, like, he does well. He has a TSP. His house is paid off, all this good stuff. So I put him because at FFL, we work with multiple carriers. We don't just work with one company. And so I sent this illustration back to the SRS team, and they're like, hey, for this client, you want to use this company because it has a phenomenal income base. And I was like, sweet. So I pitch him, and I'm like, hey, his name is David. He makes $2,000 in Social Security. He has $3,000 coming from his pension. He has $1,700 coming from an income annuity already that I wrote him. So he's making about $8,000 a month in retirement with no mortgage, no car payment, right? And he goes, hey, I still have this TSP money laying around, and I don't know what to do with it. I'm like, David, spend it. And he's like, what? I'm like, you should roll it into our income annuity and spend it. He's like, you're telling me everything different than all these financial advisors. I'm like, absolutely. You know why? You left $1 million to your stepdaughter. He doesn't have any kids. Your wife has $1 million as well. Your house is paid off. It's worth about $1 million too.
Is it his ex-wife or his wife?
His current wife. And I'm like, you plan on leaving them anymore? He's like, no, what they have is enough. I'm like, right. And so every month with your Social Security and a pension, because it always comes in, so does your annuity. I'm like, so guess what, David? If you spend all your annuity money, guess what happens next month? It comes in again. And you spend it the next month, guess what happens? It comes in again. It always comes in. I'm like, you worked 40 years. You don't get to take it with you when you die. So you might as well spend it with you while you're alive. And he's like, no financial advisor has ever told me that. They tell me to keep investing. I'm like, yeah, you know why? They make 2 to 3% on everything you invest. I was like, we don't get paid that way. I was like, I want you to spend the money because you worked your tail off for the last 40 years for this. You should spend it all because you have all your, like, he literally has everything set up properly. And that's the reason why I think I keep getting his business, because the advice that we're giving him it makes logical sense, but it's so different than everybody else because there's no risk in what we do.
That's huge.
Very.
What would you guys say if you had somebody go, well, I can't do this over Zoom, or I can't do this over phone sales? They're like, that sounds great when you dinosaurs used to go into people's homes. but you can't do that over Zoom or over the phone.
Oh, you definitely can, but I would definitely come see you wherever you're at.
Or you can over the phone.
You absolutely can over the phone. Like we've done. First of all, it's already being done. Like a lot. I don't want to say 100% of what Brad Allen's done and Jesse Hantla and Spencer. Like, dude, they're doing telesale annuity appointments, so it can definitely be done over the phone. But if I get a guy that just won't, dude, I'm gonna hop on an airplane and go see him. It's not that complicated.
Well, we were talking about I think we all have the same financial advisor, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. We all have the same financial advisor. We never met him. We only had phone appointments, and we sent him all our money.
Yeah, and it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
How close is it to, Drew? Just so they know.
Oh, how much is he managing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's got to be $1 billion.
Over.
Probably.
I think. Has
Who
to.
knows?
Yeah, I would imagine.
And we haven't even seen the dude.
I met him.
No, I've seen him now.
Yeah, right. But on the first try.
Yeah.
Right. So no,
But-
just send it to him.
So there you go. It's like, dude, it's funny because I actually I left Bank of America and I moved everything to Clay.
Dude, I love him.
Yeah.
Dude, but you know why I did it? Because Bank of America, I couldn't do anything over the phone.
Well, and
I
you
had
gotta
to
sit
go
on
in all the time, and you
hold.
got to sit on hold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's what's crazy. That's the power of a referral, by the way. Like, seriously, Brian Adams tells Sean that's where my money is. Sean puts his money there. Sean tells you, me, Steven, this is where I put my money. We put our money there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just crazy. But you do get annuity referrals, and they're golden. You get life insurance referrals too. But you start you start rolling people's money into fixed index annuities, and they're not losing money when the market's tanking, or they're earning money when it's doing well. You will get referrals for sure.
Dude, you want to know, like, if you're personal with clients, then they give you referrals because they like you, right?
Right.
So I just got a referral the other day, but I got to tell you this crazy story, okay? So 8 years ago, me and Nicole decides she wants a dog and finds one online that's this like expensive, purebred, all
Right.
this blah, 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 right?
The dog that's the picture hanging in your office?
Yeah, one of them. Yeah,
Okay.
Bonna. So we go and get Bonna, and we get home and she's sick and like weird, and we take her to the vet, and they're like, "Dude, this dog has all kinds of problems." So we call the thing on the papers, and they're like, "This dog doesn't have papers." Like the whole thing.
It was all scam.
It was all scam. Okay.
Dude, that happened to me too. Go ahead. I'll tell you mine after you tell me yours.
All right. No, dude. So check this out. So I start looking it up, the lady that we got it from, and like there's like thousands of people after her, bro. Like she's scamming everybody.
OMG.
Okay. So I go into a client's house, and she's got this funky looking dog, and I'm like looking for something to compliment.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool dog. And this thing looks like, I don't know, it's like a medium size, like bigger dog. She's like, that dog was supposed to be a teacup Yorkie. I was like, oh, and she's like, some lady with like brunette hair that I met in Norco named Monique. Dude, you could look this up. Named Monique something. Sold me the dog. And I'm like, bro, look at my dog. I show her because the dog's cool looking, but one of her eyes is over here. Okay. Well, dude, so the other week I get a call. This lady's giving me a bunch of referrals, but I get a call from the LA Times, and they're like doing a full-blown story
on Monique?
On Monique.
Oh, that's great.
Bro, she's got lawsuits everywhere.
I bet.
She's got sick dogs everywhere. It's actually really sad.
It is sad.
Like animal cruelty cases everywhere.
That's
but
terrible.
anyways, the client told them, "Hey, you got to call my insurance guy because the same thing happened to him."
Dude, mine's not that good, but similar situation. And I took my daughter Elena to a meeting with Sean, and she's like telling Sean that she wants a dog. So then, obviously Sean's like, "Dude, you got to buy your daughter a dog." And I'm like, I don't want to buy her a dog. Like I have a dog. So we wind up buying her a dog. Same thing. Mine actually was a teacup Yorkie, and it didn't turn out to be a pit bull. But we brought the dog home,
It turned out to be
No, it didn't. I said it didn't turn out to be a pit bull. We brought the dog home, and like the dog was like lethargic and like not eating,
That's
not moving.
what ours did.
Yeah,
I think they give them some type of like,
sedative.
yeah.
I don't. Well, we took ours to the vet, and the vet's like, "Oh, she's gonna die." Like, so we call the number of the girl that sold us the dog, and it's disconnected. And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!" So I got Tino and my daughter crying, and I'm like, "I got this little dog that's like having seizures and convulsions." But I stayed up for 24 hours straight with a syringe and honey, pumping it into its mouth. Did it like the day after? Dog was fine, good as could be. I'm not kidding you. We had a dog for like 10 years. We gave it away because dog was crazy, but good as could be. But same thing, like people do that stuff all the time. I don't even know how we got on this topic, but yeah, same
we
thing.
were just saying, connect with your clients.
Oh yeah, that's not my client.
Yeah. And I was saying, because I had talked to this client and learned more about her and found this common ground,
Right.
she
Trusted you.
remembered
Yeah.
me. That was 8 years ago.
Yeah, dude. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. You can find common ground and something that you guys can relate with. That's what we always used to look for. We call it the Wall of Fame. Like, what do they have in their house? I'll never forget. I had an agent. I was sitting in an appointment. And I was running. I had a football. It was like the first football game we had on a Friday night, and I needed to get out of this appointment. A lady wouldn't connect with me. So I had an agent close by. I called him. His name was Mark. He's not here. I don't even know what he's doing. He was so good with connecting with people. And I'm like talking about the pictures, and she's like, like everything I bring up, she's like not having it. And dude, my man walks in 2 seconds. He points this little thing like a little trinket on the table. He's like, "Oh, that's so pretty." She goes off like, and they're connected just like that. I'm going like, you can't make that up, but it's just that's the business. Like some people will, some people won't. You move on.
Dude, I got a really insane annuity story I got to tell you.
Okay, I'm
before
all
we
ears.
wrap this up. And this is just something that I think hard work pays off. Like it just pays off. But check this out. So I meet this lady in Victorville, California, and I show her, I do the whole thing, the golden question, the silver question, the magical question. I do
one
it all.
approach.
Yeah. And she loves it, okay? And I am going back to write it, and she ends up canceling. She goes, "Hey, my cousin sells a theme,
Okay.
and he wants me to go with him." And I'm like, "Well, I'll come." That's a hard one to overcome.
That is a hard one. That is.
But I'm like, "Okay, no problem, but I'll come back over and we can look at some other options." And I'm just trying to get back in the door to see her again,
Mhm.
to like earn the business, right? And she's like, "Okay, well, I'm going out of town. I'm going out of town, and I'll call you when I get back, okay?" Dude, I'm not making any of this up. So I get a bunch of final expense leads, direct mail final expense leads in LA. Like, it's like a 2-hour drive from me. And I book one of them with a lady named Penny. And I drive to LA. I go to Penny's house. She answers the door and goes, "I have company."
Oh, stop.
Dude, I'm not making this up. "I have company. Like, can we do this later?" And I'm like, "It'll be 5 minutes," and I'm like 2 hours away from home. Dude, I go in, and my client is at her house visiting her. It was like one of her best friends.
That's fantastic.
And then she was like, "Dude, God wants me to go with you."
That's cool.
That is cool. You can't make that stuff up.
I don't even know what the odds of that happening are.
Dude, it's stupid. Probably close to the same odds of getting in 2 airplane crashes and surviving them both. Like
Maybe a little
my
less,
man.
but
But dude, just because their cousin sells a theme doesn't mean they know how to properly do all those things too, though.
well, the other thing is once you get in stuff with family, usually
Yeah,
It's a little hairy, I think.
it could get hairy. But,
I agree.
And she was cool. She was like, "I'm just gonna go with you." Like,
Yeah, it just seemed right. So before we do wrap this up, can we tell them where they go once they ask the golden question, the magic question, the silver question, the swan question? Like, it's really not that complicated. Can I tell them what to do?
Frankie, how well do you sleep at night?
They're like a baby.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, tell 'em.
So once you find your money and you ask the magical question, and they say, "Yeah, I'm interested."
Let's go through the questions so people can memorize these.
Okay. The question I ask
Let's go through all the 4 questions that are
that they're going to ask
that can help them. The golden question.
The golden question, what do you have that acts like life insurance, IRA, 401k, 403b, anything with a beneficiary attached to it?
The magical question.
If I could show you a way to take advantage of the upside of the market but eliminate all downside risk, would that be something you'd be interested in learning
question?
about? That's the your magical question is:
Do you sleep well at night?
Do you want to know what the Sleep Well at Night program is?
Yeah,
that's your magical question. Mine was, but I'm gonna listen. I would use that all day long.
All right, what about the silver question?
Do you consider yourself a spender or a saver?
And then there's one more.
No, those are the 3 questions.
Those are the 3.
Those are the 3?
Yeah, if you're a spender, then you find a way
spender
to...
or saver, you called that the silver question.
Yeah. If they're a saver,
Are you
they
a
probably have
spender or
money.
a saver?
Me? I'm a spender.
Me too.
You are?
I am. Why are you so sad and disappointed? He's like,
I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming.
You didn't see? Did you see mine coming?
Yes. Hey,
wait, are you a spender or a saver?
Hey, listen to this. Frankie got here and I'm calling leads and I go, dude, if I close this lady, this next call I make, if I sell her a policy, what will you give me? And he pulls $3,000 out of his pocket. And I didn't close her.
Are you a spender or a saver?
I'm probably a saver. Yeah.
I can see that.
Where do you like to save your money at, Andrew? But that's it. You just ask the question. And once you ask, even if you don't know, like even if they tell you like, no, I don't want to learn, dude, I would still submit the request to ask a specialist. And then call. It's like if the first time you call a lead and they tell you they're not interested, do you never call that lead again? No. So why would you, if they have money, why would you not keep that as a potential lead down the road and keep dripping on them, keep contacting them and going, hey, don't forget, we have some great new programs that are out. I know, like you said, election year coming up, the market always gets a little quirky around that time. I mean, how much of your money are you willing to lose? You know what I mean? It's just, you keep persistency pays off. And I think that's the key to this industry all the way around. Persistency. So go to SRS, FFLSRS.com. Go to Ask a Specialist button. They're going to ask you their age, if it's qualified money or non-qualified money. Qualified money means it has not been taxed yet. Non-qualified money means the government's not qualified to touch it. You've already paid taxes. What their short-term and long-term goals are, and if you can get a statement from them. And then they'll send you, like you said, they'll send you the illustration, the application, and then the bullet points of what the product offers them. It's very simple.
Boom.
Hey, you said not to tidal wave sell. Can you explain that to agents? Because I definitely did, and you told me that when I was brand new. I was like, "Oh, you got $300,000 in an annuity or in a 401k? Forget this mortgage protection thing."
Yeah. So tidal wave selling is talking about too many things and not staying on track on what you're there for.
Right.
So it's like every time they bring something up, if you can learn to go, "Hey, we'll talk about that later." Then you can stay on course. Hey, I don't have a lot of time right now. We'll go over that later, but let's make sure we get you with help with what you asked for.
Yeah.
Right.
And then stick to that, or you're never going to sell anything.
Well, you lose credibility and trust. You know what I mean?
Hey, Frankie, if people don't think they can sell annuities, Steven, tell them about the ride along you went on with me.
Which one?
Which one?
All 6 appointments that you sold in 20 minutes.
Yeah, but
the first
happened?
one?
Yeah.
So, dude, I rode along with Drew like when I was like brand new. So we get out of the car.
Wait, first tell him what I said about MLM.
Oh, he was like, "I hate people like you." When I get in his car.
He said he did MLM, and I said, "I hate people like you."
That's funny. That's half his team. People like you.
Right. So we get to the house, and the son's like washing his car or something. And he goes, "Hey, didn't my parents cancel your policy last week?" And I was like, "Yo, we're walking into this."
Dude was aggressive too, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
We walk into the house. The parents are sitting on the right side. I'm sitting in the middle, and Andrew's sitting on the left. And he's like on his phone. And I'm like, all right, I'm brand new, but I understand that you can't quote without asking medical questions.
Right.
So I'm like, what is he doing? You know? And I'm like just trying to talk to the clients because it's kind of awkward now.
Yeah, the awkward silence.
Yeah. Dude, I peek over Andrew's playing Angry Birds. Dude, he drops his phone and he goes, all right, you filled this in. What medical conditions do you have? This and this. He goes, all right, you can get this. Do you want it? They're like, yeah. 20 minutes, dude. Every single one of them.
Yeah, dude. The back to the MLM thing though. I was saying I didn't like people who which
talked about the money they made but never
made the money.
Yeah.
The fakeness of it.
Acted like they made a lot of money but didn't. It was just all a big show. That's what I was
absolutely.
trying to say.
And that's all of them. I mean, that was the company we came from. It was all a big show. You know what I mean? And I'm with you. I agree. But I have actually one of our top agents right now came from the direct market sales stuff, and the stuff they talk about definitely works. It's just you got to find people that won't work.
Dude, do you want to know? I just want to share this because this just popped in my head. You know the best thing I ever heard that I started doing that works? If somebody goes, "Can I think about it?" What do you say if they go, "Can I think about it?"
As far as life insurance goes, if you knew you were going to die tomorrow, would you do this today? And they go, yes. I go, are you 100% sure you're not going to die tomorrow? Nobody wants to say that. That's what I always used to say.
What do you say?
I make a apply or decline. I don't let them think about it.
Yeah, so when I started saying no, you can't think about it. You just go like this. You go, you can't think about it. What we'll do is we'll pick the one you think you like the most, and then we can adjust it later.
I like it.
And then people will be like, oh, I'll take that one. I'm not kidding you.
I like it.
Or they'll be like, okay, I'll take the middle one.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Dude, he's a sales
he's
guru.
a savage.
Absolutely. No, I'm not.
Yes,
you really
are.
I
wish we can record that and play it for people to watch.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about SRS, right? Like simple retirement solutions compared to advanced. I remember riding with Andrew and he was selling this guy CBO. And he was like, all right, this is the one that if you don't die, it gives you all your money back. And I was like, no, it's called a return of premium rider. Like in my mind.
Yeah, right.
Right? And I'm like, because that's the proper word. But that's why he sold so much. Because he spoke in the language
Simple
that the clients understood. And I'm like, there's power in that, Drew.
Very much so.
There is.
And my favorite one was where he would go, if you don't die, if you die, you get paid. Your wife gets paid. If you don't die, you get paid.
And if you buy
this, I get paid. We all win. That was my favorite.
Bro, that's the best return of premium sale ever in history.
No, I can't argue with that.
People should still do that.
I don't disagree.
I don't think we teach it enough, though. That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
We should record that, your old school training.
Agreed.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And, every Thursday at what time?
Every Thursday, noon Eastern Standard Time, srsliftoff.com. You will hear from the best FFI top annuity producers in the company every Thursday.
Cool. All right, guys, go write your first annuity or go write more. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys later.